And as far as this whole, the main kind of thrust of what people have been saying to you in your constituency since you've been anointed as the new MP, sorry, elected, I should say, I shouldn't say anointed. What are they saying to you? Because, you know, obviously I listen to my callers every day. They worry about the migrant crisis. They want something done. They want the people coming here to be stopped from coming here. Enough is what they say. You know, they don't want to be charged more to drive around. They don't want to be told to drive around in 20-mile-an-hour zones all the time either. You know, but there's a lot of crime to talk about as well. What are your constituents telling you?
Well, again, as you'd expect, Mike, I've been, you know, since elected or anointed, as you say, I've been very busy in my constituency, you know, and the message that's coming back to me is, you know, they don't want ULEZ, you know, they're still, you know, asking me to campaign with Susan Hall, the mayoral election coming up in the next 6 or 7 months to, you know, rid our great capital city of this terrible mayor, and a terrible mayor who is soft on crime but is tough on motorists. And we need to be making sure that we send the strongest possible message to him through a great candidate, which is Susan Hall, and remove him from office because he is an absolute terrible mayor for London.
And as far as what you're going to see Rishi Sunak do to stop the boats, you know, it's one thing to say, well, we can send a few people to Rwanda, but they've really got to stop those boats, haven't they? That's what's got to happen.
Yeah, and I think that is, again, one of the 5 priorities is about stopping the boats. And I think if you look at the statistics, it does actually show that there's been a big year-on-year improvement. Certainly we can see there are less boats coming over. We can certainly see that the deal that we struck with, you know, Albania now has seen a 90% reduction in Albanian crossings now. But I think there is more to do. And I think, you know, we'll certainly see from the Prime Minister's speech on Wednesday, you know, how progress is being made, and how we continue to sort of stop the boats and, you know, have proper immigration status into our great country.
Yeah, exactly right. Just before you came on, we were speaking to Jeremy Kyle about his interview this morning with Ralph Bolger, the father of Jamie Bolger, because coming up, incredibly, you wouldn't believe this was actually happening, but it is happening. One of his killers, John Venables, is up for parole, apparently. He's appealing, Jeremy Kyle, that is, appealing to Alex Chalk, Justice Minister, to put a stop to this parole hearing. Do you think you could pass that message on to him for us?
I can certainly pass a message on to Alex, but I think we need to obviously just make sure, you know, whatever processes are in place, you know, justice needs to be done. We need to be sensible about, you know, parole hearings, and I'm sure common sense will prevail. Yeah,
I mean, I think in the end, if somebody's let out once and then they re-offend in some way and have to be brought back in, surely there should be a rule that says you don't get parole again like another person would get it. You have to stay in for an extended period of time. Or some have suggested to me even, you go back to the original sentence.
Yeah, well, I don't want to preempt what a parole board might determine, but there's certainly hope that common sense should prevail here. So we need to just watch that very closely.
Well, common sense is definitely what we need, and common sense is what we're not seeing. Front page of the Times today, I have to say, which is an extraordinary story. Because of the NHS strikes, the NHS is paying some doctors, and one in particular, £7,900 for one shift, because they're so short of doctors. This week we see the doctors are on strike again, both the junior doctors and the consultants. People say the government should sit down and talk to them. I don't think they should. It's a very small number of people who are doing this, by the way, in terms of the doctors in this country. Most of them are actually turning up for work. But it's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is, and you know, in a life before I was a member of Parliament, I had extensive dealings with trade unions during my time with the Royal Mail, and I think, you know, you can make some significant transformational change, big changes, you know, when you work with trade unions and when you've got trade unions that are prepared to work with you and do the right thing, you know, for society, do the right thing for their members. There's a happy balance to be achieved there. So, you know, I think the doctors certainly need to be reflecting on the industrial action that they are taking, because it is causing a lot of frustration and problems for our people.
Yeah, as are the rail strikes. They're back on again, aren't they? There's a work to rule, I think, going on today. They were on strike on Saturday. They're on strike again on Wednesday. Do you feel as if there's any hope in getting those things settled?
Well, again, I think, you know, dialogue is crucial, but there needs to be, you know, compromises on all sides. And again, my experience of working with trade unions is you can make some phenomenal big set-piece transformational change when everybody is aligned and everybody's working towards a common objective. So, you know, people do need to be getting around the table, you know, sorting out their differences so that members of the public, travelling public or patients, you know, are no longer being disrupted by these devastating strikes.